I'm so pleased to have you here today, Mark Eramo, the co-president of S&P Global Commodity Insights. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Really happy to be here in Cape Town.
A wonderful Cape Town.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Is this your first time here?
It is. It's my first time to South Africa, my first time to Africa.
Wow.
And so arrived on Saturday, and it's been a wonderful experience so far.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
you're enjoying.
I look forward to spending more time in Cape Town.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's just dive straight into it. So, S&P Global Commodity Insights provides critical data and analyses to global energy markets. How do you see your insights shaping investment decisions in Africa's oil, gas, and renewable sectors over the next decade?
Thanks for the question. So Commodity Insights division, first and foremost, is a global division. So we have people situated in all the major regions. And we're covering markets in commodity and energy sectors on a global basis. The interactions between regions, the connectivity of different products, so from basic energy through downstream markets. So, our analysis starting with what I call, price assessments, news and editorial, kind of what's happening today. And then we pick up on near-term analysis, short-term analysis, long-term analysis. And again, we're doing this for a wide variety of commodity markets. I like to say that we cover what fuels the world, what powers the world, what feeds the world, and the materials that are used in terms of construction and modernizing the world. And so in all of these value chains and products with the different dimensions that we have, what we do is we help our clients understand what's happening today and then what could be happening tomorrow in these markets. So to come to your question about investment opportunities, as we look at Africa emerging on the fundamental energy stage in terms of oil and gas, we can help investors understand if you're producing more in Africa, where's the demand? Where can that come from? How competitive are the assets? And a whole variety of things as you start to think about not just the upstream investment, but downstream investments as well.
Now, Africa is pursuing a differentiated approach to the energy transition, balancing hydrocarbons with renewables and new energy solutions. How do you assess this pathway, and what opportunities does it present for investors?
When you stop and think about energy transition, and the initiative that I like to put under the umbrella of sustainability, and sustainability has been a hallmark of the industry, whether you're talking about the upstream industry or the downstream industries, refining and chemicals, for example. It's been a hallmark of these industries for a very long time. How do you make these products and do it in a sustainable way? Make sure you're taking care of the environment, taking care of the ecosystems, but yet making the investments that are bringing economic development to countries around the world. So as you go through an energy transition discussion, and you think about climate, what I call the era of climate, and think about how do you reduce carbon emissions, is you really have to balance that with your fundamental hydrocarbon business. It's the hydrocarbon business today that are the near-term opportunities in order to generate the investments and the profitability that can fund the investments in renewable energy. So if I'm going to invest in solar, wind, biomass, whatever the case might be, those investments have to be profitable for my shareholders, for my stakeholders. Otherwise, they won't stand on their own 2 feet. So if I have a hydrocarbon business that's viable, that can then therefore support the investment in renewables, balancing those two together really is the best approach in our opinion. We call it energy expansion or energy addition. In other words, it's not necessarily about replacing one form of energy for another. The world is growing. Africa is growing. 1.4 billion people, maybe 2 billion in the not too distant future. And that means increasing energy demand. So the hydrocarbons are a primary source, which will likely continue to grow, but then renewables can also be profitable in part of that mix as well.
Thank you for that. Market intelligence plays a critical role in de-risking projects. How does your research and forecasting help companies mitigate uncertainty when entering or expanding in African markets?
Yeah. So the intelligence and analysis that we provide gives clients around the world, and again, we provide what we call subscription services to, whoever's interested in buying the analysis, right? So it's not bespoke, tailored information, even though we do that as part of our advisory business, but our subscription services are available to all, right? And so we provide a window into what's happening to all these different markets. We provide a view on the future. And when it comes to mitigating the risk of investments in the future, we provide a long-term forecast and we provide scenarios, the what ifs, different views on what may happen to energy prices, what may happen to economic growth, where's the population growth coming from, all of those fundamentals of supply, demand, trade, price, cost, margin. We provide those on a scenario basis, which then allows the investors to apply probabilities to those scenarios and therefore kind of bracket what could be the return on investment under these different scenarios. So it's a way to help the ecosystem that looks at these investments, from financing to the actual operators to the constructors themselves, in terms of what risks are there and then what could possibly happen in the future.
With energy security rising on the agenda, how do you expect Africa's position in oil, gas, and critical mineral supply chains to evolve? And how will your company's intelligence track these shifts?
Yeah. So Africa is the emerging market in terms of being a global energy player. So as we see oil and gas developments, critical minerals developments, especially from the standpoint of the need for electrification, the need for electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, those critical minerals play a fundamental part. And again, there's 8 billion people in the world. Energy demands are growing, and so the opportunity for Africa as an emerging market in many of the countries within Africa, whether it's providing oil, refined products, or even gas domestically, or LNG that can be shipped around the world, what we see is Africa emerging as a player in the global marketplace as we think about the next 10 plus years.
Now, we're here at African Energy Week, Invest in African Energies 2025. What role do you see your organization playing to help African governments and companies leverage data and analytics to unlock new partnerships and secure financing?
Yeah, we're so happy to be a part of AEW 2025 as a major sponsor, as an Emerald sponsor. We're happy to be here supporting the African Energy Chamber in order to be a knowledge partner, in order to provide the analysis and the insights. We authored the African Energy Outlook 2025 as part of Africa Energy Week, which was basically providing a lot of our fundamental insights about the African market in terms of fundamental energy and primary refining products in terms of what the basic outlook is. So we're happy to partner both with the AEC as well as with the countries and the companies who are here so that we can engage in conversations with them about the analysis and the data and the insights that we can provide, again, given the footprint that we have on the ground. We're also happy to announce that we are in the process of landing a second office. We are here in Cape Town. We're also going to open an office in Abuja in Nigeria. We see Africa as a key part of our strategy in terms of emerging markets. And it's important to be here on the ground, to be able to work side by side with the companies, understand the cultures, and be a part of the ecosystem as Africa emerges as a major energy supplier.
That's incredible news. Just my final question. What key messages will you share at this event about how your organization supports the continent's ambition to become a central player in global energy supply and transition?
Yeah, I guess the key message, I'll just go back to what I just said, which is we are here on the ground in Cape Town. We will be on the ground in Abuja. We will continue to look at the African continent as a place for us to invest, to be part of the ecosystem here as the emerging markets and energy evolve from an African standpoint. And key message globally is that Africa, quote, is on the map. We're seeing the investment starting to come in, and we're here to support and help be part of that emerging story. It's a fun and exciting time for Africa.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.